home sales fall again in July as supply drops to near quarter-century low. The median price of a home sold in July was $406,700, which is an increase of 1.9% from July of last year in 2022. Sales fell month to month in all regions except the West, and there were 1.11 million homes for sale at the end of July, 14.6% fewer than July 22, and about half the pre-COVID supply.
Wow.
So we're missing a lot of houses.
Dun, dun, dun.
So interestingly, though, one of the things that I have noticed, and they mentioned it here on the article, is that the demand for FHA's loans has increased. And I have seen that because a lot of people are starting to hit the predicament where their renting situation is not that far off from what a mortgage would be. And especially here in San Diego, in the eastern part of Chula Vista, or anywhere really in San Diego, you're really facing the crisis of rents going up, mortgages going up, and the financial situation of where you're at right now isn't making sense anymore. So you'd rather have something that, down the line can help you in any financial way, or you're really just throwing away down your money towards somebody else's investment. Yeah, essentially.
I mean, it makes sense. You have a lower interest rate, right? It's government guaranteed with the Federal Housing Administration. So therefore, your interest rate's going to be lower than a conventional. And then your mortgage insurance, the good thing is they reduced it.
Yeah.
You know, so that has a huge effect on why people are making a decision to go towards FHA right now.
Yeah, and even if you have solid credit, the MI is going to be low. Sometimes it's going to be a little bit lower than the conventional, depending on your credit. But it is a good opportunity because I have seen that give buyers a little bit more purchase power because of the fact that the numbers sometimes are a little bit lower with the rate, and conventional being so strict on your finances and your income and your credit. There is options out there.
Yeah, and I think that it is really a test and a battle of people's persistence and their perseverance. I mean, I was reading here, sales are 16.6% lower compared with July of last year, and homes sold at the slowest pace since July 2010.
13 years ago.
13 years ago, but also coming out of a massive catastrophe in real estate and mortgage. So, my note to myself was, is this another warning sign or is this a test for the market? I mean, it could be either one. It could be both. It could offer itself up as a warning sign, but also be a test for the market to see how resilient it is and how resilient buyers are, and whether or not this is looking down the line historically, we could go back and go, oh yeah, that was the turning point. That was another 2010 moment in 2023. Not sure about that yet.
Yeah. And here's the craziest part too that was cool about that article is, even with the rates rising, it so seemed that the regions here in the West, we were still buying.
Yeah.
We weren't hesitating. Let's go. Let's buy.
I think San Diego still, for that matter, is still very competitive compared to any other market that I've heard. And I've been seeing it even when we spoke to the account executive from the East Coast. He's like, San Diego is the last one to feel anything in the real estate market. You guys are still, it seems like it, exactly. But because the competition is still there, I mean, multiple offers. Yeah. It just seems like it's not slowing down.
So I'm going to ask you guys both the same question. How much of it do you think is being driven by FOMO versus needs?
Oh, man, that is a good one. That is good. That's a tough one.
What do you think it is? Do you think it's people that think it's a fear of missing out, or do you think it's that they need to buy?
I think a lot of people, it's fear of missing out. I really, really do. That's, if you kind of think about it, it's like, well, my neighbor has a property or my friend or my family member, why can't I do it? And so they go out there and do it. And it's kind of getting people to just not be patient with it and let me just get into the market now. No, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it either. Yeah, there really isn't. Again, the best cliche I've been hearing is, don't marry the rate, marry the home.
Yep. I think for me, it's going to be a combination of both because of the fact that, a lot of people 2 years ago, they didn't buy, and now they're seeing everybody have that low rate with the golden handcuffs. Then they're starting to see their needs like, my rent's not going down. My bills are getting more expensive. Right. My energy spending is getting more expensive. Everything's getting more expensive. So I think it's a combination of, dang, I should have bought when they told me to buy, and now I really need to buy, or I really need to make a pivot in my situation because my needs are a lot different than what they were 2 years ago. And that's one of the things that, right now is the conversations I have with my clients where it's, well, what's the goal for 5 years down the line, And if you have a clear path or some sort of an idea, it's going to help you make better decisions, knowing that you have a plan down the line that's going to help you create that pathway. So I think for me, a lot of people are know that they missed out, and now their needs are like, hey, yo, I need to make a choice here.
100%. That's actually great information. Like, it's true. A lot of people, the clients 2 years ago, we had them approved. They're ready. So we just do a follow up with them, and they're like, no, I'm already priced out of the market. I can't even do that. My income is fixed. So
I had a client that came in. We approved him in 2020. He had a 2.75 rate conventional purchase, right? And I pulled up his application. I was like, ooh. He's like, well, I'm like, the rate is just not there. Like, I mean, and he knew too. He's like, I know, I waited, this and that. The income was there. Yeah. Luckily, he still has, significant income, but it's a complete different situation. You're talking 2.75 to 6.25. Like,
so what's my rate now, Brian?
Yeah, I told him, I was like, well, add 4 more points to that.
Oh man, that's crazy.
But that's the reality, and that's why I said, like, he tried to say, no, I'm going to wait it out, but eventually,
And the funniest thing, when you would do that and tell people, I'm approving you at 2.75%, they'd be like, can you go lower? What would you think that client would say right now?
I'll take anything below 6%.
I'll take 2.
Right?
Okay, Lonesome Mike, let's ask you, FOMO versus needs. What do you think is driving buyers in the West still? Good answer.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay.
Did you know Cal Hapa is making a comeback in 2024?
Okay, Lonesome Mike, FOMO versus needs. What do you think is driving buyers in the West?
I would say it would be FOMO because, I know a lot of people are renting right now. And like Brian was saying, rent for the most part right now, although it is still going up, and San Diego is now the most expensive place to live. It can be still cheaper than a mortgage. So I feel like maybe the need isn't quite there especially for younger people as well. So I would say, especially younger people buying right now in this market, it would probably be a fear of missing out.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a little bit of both. Again, and you made a great segue to what I think my takeaway is on that is I think it's both depending on who the buyer is. Yeah, so if it's a buyer that's young, maybe there's a little bit of FOMO. If it's need-based, your family's expanding, or you've gotten promoted at work and you want to finally stop being a renter, maybe there's FOMO plus needs of expanding the family. But then also, I think whether you're an investor or not, like investors right now that were using debt to finance their acquisitions are a little bit more tepid right now. But here's the thing. There were still 16% of homes in July that were purchased by cash and investors.
I know.
Investor cash.
It's crazy.
So it's still happening. So I do think it's a little bit of both. And then I have to read this part from the article because it reflected some attitude and behavior that I think we need to be conscious of and keep our eye on. This is from Danielle Hale, chief economist at Realtor.com, who says, home shoppers have seen the number of options dwindle as homeowners are largely content to stay put and enjoy their current home, especially those with a low mortgage rate. This, I think, is going to be the story of 2023, moving into 2024. It could even carry in higher than that, guys. But